Welcome, everyone. I'm Doreen, and on behalf of ConvergeOne, thank you for joining us. We'll begin today's presentation after a quick review of your webcast console. If technical support is needed during the session, please click the question mark icon. The projector icon will open and close the slide presentation. The Q&A icon is where you can add your questions. We will have time for Q&A at the end of the session, so please send in your questions at any time. The person icon will show and hide the speaker bio for today's presenter. And finally, please click on the survey icon at the end of the webcast to share your feedback on today's event, as well as events you'd like to hear in the future. All phones will be muted during the webcast, which is being recorded for on-demand playback. You will receive a follow-up email with the playback link. With that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to ConvergeOne Data Center National Practice Director, Hassan Kassih. Hassan?
Great. Thank you so much, Doreen. And hello, everyone. Hope everyone is safe and well. Today, we'll be talking about proven best practices for multi-cloud architecture adoption. Quick look at the agenda. We'll be talking about COVID-19 impact on our business operations, specifically around the enterprise architecture. We'll be talking about multi-cloud enterprise architecture, what it really means, and proven best practices for multi-cloud architecture adoption, and how ConvergeOne can help. So let's start with the million-dollar question that we're facing right now, which is, will working from home become the new norm? Couple of facts based on the latest U.S. Census data. Before the pandemic, 5.2% of workers in the U.S. worked from home. Gartner did a survey, and it revealed 88% of organizations have encouraged or required employees to work from home due to coronavirus. And according to globalworkplaceanalytics.com, 56% of U.S. workforce holds a job that is compatible with remote work, and they expect 25 to 30% of workforce to be working from home within the next 2 years. So from 5%, we expect it's going to go up to 25 to 30%, so 5 to 6 times what we had before the pandemic. And this is, I guess, expected because we've seen that the business saw the value of working remote. There's a lot of tools that being adopted recently, and most of these tools are going to be, staying there, and it's going to last for some time. And as the organizations get comfortable with these tools, we will expect to see more adoption. So Gartner did a survey, what is your top challenge with remote work? And as you can see, the number one came in ensuring employee productivity, setting up remote work program from a technology and policy perspective. Third one is network bandwidth and connectivity, tracking and monitoring employees' work, and securing BYOD. So I guess we all agree with those 5 top challenges, and we're going to be addressing most of those in the next slide. So by 2020, Gartner expects 80% of companies leveraging the cloud will have a multi-cloud approach. I think this is now, we're all in agreement, and maybe this will be accelerated with the pandemic that we're facing. So moving to a multi-cloud enterprise architecture, what it really means? It means that you will, as an organization accessing, multiple cloud providers, you are looking to have a single architecture that will allow you a seamless operation when it comes to monitoring, when it comes to management, when it comes to support, and when it comes to securing those cloud providers and the access to the cloud providers, and specifically when we're talking about remote workers. So if we want to dig deeper into this, today the way we do things it's mainly physical based. We have branches, we have corporate, we have data centers, and we have a cloud access that's usually we access the cloud through an extension from a data center. And we access a cloud provider like any other website. The way we manage, we heavily rely on IP as the way to manage, to monitor, to secure resources, whether it's a user or an application or a branch office or a data center. Moving to an enterprise architecture where we take remote first, application centric perspective, the things will be different. For example, We will do an architecture that will empower users to use any device, accessing any app from anywhere. Comparing to the example of an IP as a unit of management, when you move to an enterprise architecture, you're moving to more of a identity-based management, meaning a user, the way we're going to secure him is by his identity, not by his IP. So when the user will be logged in, he will be, authenticated based on his identity. He will he's a part of the accounting department. And that's why when we do that shift, now we're saying username and password is not only enough. We need to consider something like multi-factor authentication to make sure that we have the maximum security possible. So let's get started to what are the proven best practices for multi-cloud architecture adoption. Let's start with the first one, which is change how your organization thinks about the cloud. We see a lot of misconception. We see some cloud perception where we've been dealing with the cloud for what now? Since Amazon started in 2006 and August 25th to be exact in 2006. And the way things been with the cloud is that a lot of the business comes to us saying, let's move to the cloud. We'll be able to save money. It's going to take us a few months. We'll be there and we'll be able to decommission our on-premise resources and assets. In reality, what happened is that it took longer than expected. It ended up costing us more than what we expected. We couldn't decommission our data centers, so now we're dealing with on-premise resources and cloud resources. And after we finished, we had to go through another project of cost optimization to put things back under control from a cloud spend perspective. And we still couldn't decommission completely our on-premise resources. So in reality, the cloud is not to reduce costs. It's not to decommission data center. It's a way to empower business. It's a way to add more capabilities. It's a way to invest in technology that you can expand your business, offer new capabilities, new products, new business models. So the cloud perception is very important that we as a technologist in our organization, that we educate the business about how they should perceive the cloud. So things that can help with that conversation is that the cloud is not a place. It's a strategy that will align with your business transformation. It's not only a provider, it's part of an enterprise architecture. And it's not expensive. Sometimes they don't want to go to that cloud provider because they feel it's more expensive than the way they're doing it right now. And the way we should address this and the way we want to look at this is that it's an investment to grow our business. It's an investment to generate revenue. It's an investment to be able to have a new products and services. Also, it's not a technical decision. It's more of a business decision. We need business analysts to partner with technologists so we can put the right strategy, the right cloud transformation strategy. And moving to the cloud is not the finish line. This is not the end state. Actually, it's just the beginning. And from there, we're just going to expand and grow the way we do things. Second one, how your organization can benefit from the cloud today. So there's so many benefits from adopting a multi-cloud architecture. First, empower remote work, freedom of choice, being able to pick the right cloud provider based on your needs, enhance your reliability, give you more flexibility, scalability, innovation, eliminating vendor lock-in. Now when you know that you can be not only in AWS, you can actually have secure connection to Azure, secure connection to Google Cloud, you have IBM Cloud, you have AWS, and you have the choice of whatever you feel the most value for your business, you can move workloads around. Data security, governance, geographical distribution, enhancing customer experience, mitigating against disasters, sometimes based on where you are geographically distributed as a company. It makes sense that you partner with this cloud provider because they have a big data center that's locally present in the same location. Data locality, some country regulations, governance requires that data doesn't leave the same country. So you can accomplish that with the flexibility in an enterprise multi-cloud architecture. Also, you gotta to know, identify your current multi-cloud adoption challenges. What is holding you back today from, embracing a multi-cloud architecture as your go-forward enterprise architecture? So a few things to bring up over here. Definitely it's going to get more complex. It's much easier if you are just dealing with one cloud provider. This way you can just learn that capability. You hire, for example, if you're going to go with AWS, you hire AWS cloud architects, you get to know the services being offered, you specialize in that. But we all know this is not the right strategy. So when you are, having multiple, and we know on average organizations are dealing with 10 plus cloud providers on average. So complexity is one. Every cloud is different. We know that. Staffing, skill set in high demand. We all know that maybe the most in-demand skill set right now is cloud architects, cloud security architects, AWS architects, Azure architects. All these are not easy to find. And what you may want to consider right now, knowing that your organization might be more open to work from home, to remote workforce, maybe now you want to expand your search to start looking for cloud architects that can be anywhere on, inside, United States. It doesn't have to be working from your office. Another thing, standardization of tools, systems, and process. What tools to select? There's so many options out there in our industry. Just selecting the right tool, the right monitoring system, the right management system, the right integration platform you want to use, the right security platforms. We all know there is no lack of technology around us. Sometimes we get stuck into the analysis paralysis. Because of so many options in front of us, this is what usually hold us back. Consistent security policies. This is a big one because we all know security is becoming more and more challenging. We see the threat with ransomwares. We see that as an organization, we're getting a lot more, security concerns like ever before. So how can you leverage security policies that you can push not only to one provider, you want to push it to on-prem and all of your cloud providers. There are technologies out there that can streamline these capabilities. Again, how you're going to maintain governance between all of that. And sometimes you know what to be done, but you're facing some aging IT infrastructure that will not allow you, for example, to push those advanced security policies. So those are challenges that we see with our customers today, and hopefully you can have a plan to overcome them. Next one, we're going to be talking about Cloud Connect strategy. There is so much to talk about over here from networking perspective, because we all know maybe that from connectivity, it's one of the challenges with multi-cloud architecture. So let's talk about what options do we have over here and how we can overcome some of these challenges. First, the situation we have with networks today, they need to transform. There is so much limitations with the way networks work today. Not enough bandwidth, limited application awareness is a big one, not much availability, fragmented security, limited scale, complex operation, high cost because we need to leverage certain cloud providers for that, or certain WAN connections for that. So the way we want to, definitely this is an old way of looking at networks from a WAN perspective, and there is much better way of doing it. And the way the technology is moving to a software-defined concept. And what we mean by software-defined networking is the separation of the control plane from the data plane. And this is the direction we see in the industry. This is not only happening on the LAN, it's happening on the data center, it's happening in the cloud, it's happening in the SD-WAN, it's happening in SD-Access, it's happening in software-defined data centers. So we're seeing this adoption happening at all levels of the network, even in the wireless. Actually, we've seen it happening in the wireless maybe before we saw it happening anywhere else. If you guys know Meraki follows this approach 10 years ago, where they separated the control plane from the data plane. So what is this going to help us with what we do? Let's look at next slide. it will add so much capabilities into the network that we don't have today. For example, security can be moved to a policy-based. We'll be able to have more analytics. We'll be able to have more automation. We will be able to ensure the experience end-to-end. For example, you have a user that will be able to access the network, software-defined access, the access layer will be able to identify the user. It will be able to identify the device, and based on that, authenticate and give that user, remote user, no matter where he is, the right access to the network. SD-WAN comes in after that. It will look at the user and say, okay, you need access to those applications. These are the options that you have. You have this path and you have this path. Take this path to this, let's say, Office 365. It's going to give you the best latency. It's going to give you the best experience. So that path will be selected for that user. Also, moving once you get to the cloud provider or to the data center, it can be an on-prem data center. You move to a more a zero trust environment where you will be able to move to that user, connect him directly to the application that he needs access to, secure way, zero trust architecture, application centric. Moving on, this is an example of an SD-WAN example. We all know the quality of service. We all love this feature. Quality of service is what the capability that we will be able to prioritize traffic. For example, real-time traffic like video, like audio, we will be able to put it top of the list, so it will take priority over traditional web access traffic, for example. Feature been around for years and years, not a new thing. What we like the most is the new feature that's available with SD-WAN, like quality of experience. This is a new thing where this is the experience of the end user accessing an application. This is an example of a test that Cisco did with one of their features called Cloud On-Ramp. They were able to improve the performance by 40% because of that feature, quality of experience. This is a very cool feature where the SD-WAN engine will be able to check the application, probe the application continuously, and measuring the application from a latency and packet loss, meaning it will rank the application from 1 to 10 on how the experience of the user will be, 10 being the best, 1 being the lowest. And of course, let's talk about, for example, Office 365. You have Office 365 hosted in the United States into multiple locations. You have US East, US West. So let's say your users are on the East Coast and they have an option to connect to US West, US East. Definitely through this SD-WAN, it will connect them automatically to the data center, the Microsoft data center that's close to them. The reason for this is that the latency will be better, the packet loss will be less, so those users all will be routed. If anything happens with that connection, at any moment the latency goes up and US West will provide a better experience for that user, the shift will happen automatically. So this is a great capabilities that we never had before, and this is where a good example of what we mean by a multi-cloud enterprise architecture that's going to be application aware. It will probe the application and it will connect the users to the best application that will give them the best experience. So far, for example, Cisco has 13 cloud providers within their ecosystem that will can integrate with the quality of experience feature. Over here we can see 4 of them, like Dropbox, Office 365, which now renamed to Microsoft Office 365, or Microsoft 365, sorry, Salesforce, Concur Solutions, and there's a long list of 9 more actually that's part of that ecosystem. So whether you have direct internet access or you go through co-location, you go through data center, you go through an internet gateway, you can still leverage that feature when you have users want to access resources. This is a screenshot that I took from Cisco Multi-Site Orchestrator. This is just to show that how we can have a single pane of glass for a multi-cloud monitoring. This is, as you can see, your on-prem data center. It's in Australia. You have an Azure data center that you leverage in, this is Europe, and then you have an AWS data center in US West. So in one, of course, you have to integrate with those cloud providers to get this capability of single pane of glass for management, for monitoring. This is how you'll be able to click on one of these providers like AWS, and it will give you full visibility of any critical issues with connectivity, any minor, any major, any high latency above the certain threshold. You will be able to click on connectivity and see green means within the limits, and it's working perfectly. So imagine if you can do this with the 10+ cloud providers that you have that you're leveraging in your organization. Definitely, this is the kind of visibility that we're lacking today that we can definitely use moving forward. This is to show the capabilities when it comes to capabilities on the networking side. For example, you'll be able to see your VRFs, you'll be able to see your bridge domains, you'll be able to see any errors, any issues that require your attention in one dashboard for multiple cloud providers. That's based on Cloud Epic from Cisco, but as you can see, very strong from a capabilities perspective. So how to select? We get this question a lot. There's so many providers out there. We know moving to the right SD-WAN solution, the right SD data center solution, the right software-defined access solution, you've got to consider those 2, 4, 6, 7 things. One, from application performance. Some providers, some WAN solutions or some networking solutions are better than others when it comes to application performance. So what applications do you leverage the most? And try to find a solution that aligns with those cloud providers. Deployment flexibility, meaning some of these are offered on a virtual platform, some are physical. Most probably you want both, because some smaller branches, remote office users, maybe you want to leverage virtual. Some bigger sites, maybe you want to leverage the physical option. Operational features, how good can you leverage that solution from management, from monitoring, from a single pane of glass, from a security perspective. Scalability, some solutions are limited from how much they can scale. If you're an enterprise class customer with thousands of remote branches, this is very important that you find a solution that can scale to that limit. Network features, how you're going to integrate with your existing environment and how you can take some of these policies that you've been, fine-tuning for years, and you've, have them, nailed down to protect your environment, how you can push it out to the cloud providers and make sure that you maintain that same network consistency across the board. Security and small platform flexibility. Some solutions are not made for really small branch office, home office, where it's 5 and less. So if you have that feature, if you have that requirement, definitely you want to consider that within your selection. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Cloud Protect from a strategy perspective. So when it comes to security, you definitely want to move to a zero trust architecture. When you have all these resources spread across, security becomes a much more challenging solution. So zero trust architecture is what you want to consider. End-to-end segmentation. A lot of customers are asking us for end-to-end segmentation. I have a screenshot that I'll show you what I mean by that, but this is something that definitely you want to consider as you embrace the enterprise multi-cloud architecture. Identity management, we talked a little bit about this. This is an important topic. This is being able to manage and monitor your users based on their identity, not based on their IP, because we all know IPs are changing now, especially with remote workforce. Intrusion detection, threat management, cloud access security, cloud SIM, analytics. We all know that you will be receiving a lot of false positives, a lot of anomalies when it comes to maybe monitoring your network. So you got to make sure that you leverage some analytics engine that's going to help you with filtering all those, events that you receive and just get your attention to the important ones. So here's how we can have a consistent network policy pushed across multi-cloud. This is a screenshot that I took where, as you can see over here, we have Azure on one side, we have AWS, and we have on-prem data center. These are the policies that you created in your network, in your on-prem network, from bridge domains, your VRFs, your endpoint groups, your filtering that you created. So you have it already deployed, you can take it, and with a click of a button, you will be able to deploy it on AWS. Of course, you have to install the Epic Cloud in the application policy infrastructure controller in the AWS. It's available in the AWS marketplace. So once it's installed, once it's configured, you will be able to push your policy from on-premise directly to the AWS environment for your virtual instance. Same thing you can do with Azure. Right now, Epic is supported on AWS and it's supported on Azure, and of course, it will be expanded in the future for other cloud providers. But this is a good example of what it means to push your network policies across multi-cloud. End-to-end segmentation, we get this request a lot. We know that this is something that top of mind for a lot of our customers. And this is how it shows you that after you will be able to identify users and devices with their identity, you will be able to come over here and say, here's the applications, here is all the different departments that I have, and I want to give my auditors access to my payroll application and my accounting access to that application. So you'll be able to pick and choose easily through a single pane of glass how you will be able, or how your users will be able to access applications. Definitely something that a lot of organizations have in their roadmap, but technologies are available today that will get you there. Moving on, define your cloud consume strategy. This one, as you guys know, there is so much that the cloud can offer today, and your business can benefit from. Just looking at, we all know that AWS is the leader when it comes to, from a cloud provider perspective. Last time I checked, AWS has over 212 cloud services. And if you look at their marketplace, they have close to 8,000 tools and systems that you can download and you can leverage. By far ahead of everyone else when it comes to cloud capabilities and cloud services. But what you want to do is that you want to come over here and look at these capabilities and how your business can benefit. There are so many things that's available for you that many of those doesn't make sense that you do it on premise, because number one, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Number two, you're not going to be able to deploy it in a short period of time. It's going to take time. You need to approve the capital expense. And you don't know, especially with the newer technologies, whether this is going to be actually really beneficial to your business or not. Things like, look at, for example, what newer things that available at AWS, from analytics, from machine learning, from quantum computing. They have capabilities in quantum computing. Like, are you going to consider having this on premise? It will be great if you can do it, but we all know this is not a cheap thing that you can get tomorrow. So you will be able to try this. You will be able to do your proof of concept. You will be able to know exactly how these capabilities can align with your business and empower your business today. Stuff like IoT, so many other things. So definitely you want to start investigating. Look at what makes sense to your business, what capabilities that you can take advantage of that's available to you and your business. And you want to run your cloud or cloud in general as a business. What does that mean? You need to track your spend. Create a rate card with all the capabilities and what it costs for each. Be able to do a show back and charge back. You will be able to report to the business of consumption and wastage. Where are you wasting? We all know one of the top challenges with the cloud adoption is cost management. So you want to have all these controls in place so you will be able to minimize waste and show where actually the usage is happening the most and the value to your business. Service tier options. Not everything should be, for example, on the flash. Not everything should be archived. What is the best mix between, for example, from a storage perspective, from a compute perspective, from service level agreements and SLAs and SLOs. Full recovery of IT costs, incentives, driving the right economic usage patterns by cloud consumers. So you want to manage adoption as well. See what exactly out of all these cloud services that we offer, what is actually the most being adopted by users? What we're having the most success with? So definitely those are things you want to consider from a cloud consumption perspective. All right, after all that, after you go through your challenges, you know exactly what benefits you can get from the multi-cloud enterprise architecture. You have an idea about your Cloud Connect. You have an idea about your Cloud Protect. You know how you're going to manage consumption. Now you want to define your cloud target state, communicate, and implement. The best thing you want to start with is you want to have a clear roadmap. We all know that management love roadmaps. If you have a roadmap that you put in front of them that shows this year we're going to focus on this, we feel that we are missing few things from a security perspective, missing few things from a networking perspective that I feel those are top of the list. This is where our priority, so you deploy those this year. Next year we're going to focus on this. The year after we're going to do that. So that's usually very important that you want to start thinking about doing, because working with a lot of customers, I know there is a lot of demand from customers. They always ask us to help them with a roadmap. This is something that we engage with customers a lot, so I know it gets you where you want to be. So definitely, if you are looking to grow your multi-cloud adoption, if you want to you wish to implement some improvements on your network from security, from management, from monitoring, from support, definitely put it in a roadmap where business will be able to see your vision and give you the support that you want. Also, you need to ask for what help you need. We all know that this is too big for a single organization to be able to do on their own. So definitely the new norm when it comes with a multi-cloud enterprise architecture is that you rely on contractors and service providers. You need those cloud architects that can come in and help you just get you going with AWS. Then cloud architects on Azure, cloud architects on AWS, on Google, on IBM. It doesn't make sense that you hire all these capabilities. So what is the most sense is that you contract for these capabilities and you train the team that you have as you go through this transition. Change management, success metrics, how you're going to measure success with your cloud adoption and enterprise architecture adoption. Targeted communication plan, who's your champions, not only from the IT side. Definitely you want champions on the business side, and your CIO, of course, is going to be leading that effort to try to find those champions on the business. And I can tell you, we've seen the most success with this adoption when the CIO is either reporting directly to the CEO or maybe he reports to the COO. But if the CIO is still under the finance department, under the CFO, the perception is that this organization or the IT organization is a cost center. And when you start talking about this, transformation to a multi-cloud enterprise architecture, you might be challenged because this requires a significant investment. So, and what's your IT support game plan moving forward? The traditional support tools and systems that we usually use for on-premise resources, it's not going to work for multi-cloud. So definitely we want to change the way we support the tools, the systems, the SLAs that we have in place. So how can we help? I have 10 more minutes to talk about how ConvergeOne can help, and then we'll take questions. First, we have a very mature cloud practice within ConvergeOne. We've been, doing this for 10 plus years. We have leading skill set in public, private, and hybrid cloud capabilities. We have a proven reference architecture when it comes to Cloud Connect, Cloud Protect, and Cloud Consume. We partner with the best industry ecosystem partners from AWS, from Azure, from Cisco, Dell EMC, VMware, and we have many others as well. And we have a very strong services organization to deploy and to manage those solutions that we do, professional services, managed services, and cloud services. Our team is over 200 people. Skill set varies from cloud, from cybersecurity, from data center, from enterprise networking. This is a team that, been working with customers every day, all day on this transformation to a multi-cloud enterprise architecture. What we offer, as you can see, we have, when it comes to Cloud Connect, we have so many things that we can offer from a multi-domain network, from end-to-end segmentation, when it comes to cloud network policies, cloud services routers, SD-WAN, SD access, SD data center, from Cloud Protect, email, web, DNS security, identity management, malware protection. When it comes to cloud consumption, like I said, we have a lot of things that we do with AWS, with Azure, with IBM, whether it's on-premise, private cloud, or hybrid, or public, for workload mobility, for workload optimization, for workload management. We have so much to offer on that side as well. So how do we go with multi-cloud? What's our methodology? We call it waves. The way we do things is that we start with a workshop with our customers to understand your pain points, to understand your current state. We evaluate what you have in place today, and we help you, like we talked about, to put the roadmap together. We look at all the things that, from a business requirement, from a technical requirement. We go through a structured information gathering process. For example, we have a workshop for the enterprise multi-cloud architecture. We ask over 160 questions, and we go over the details of each of these categories that we mentioned, from Cloud Connect, from cloud consumption, from Cloud Protect, and we help you know exactly what's the best things that you can start with, and what makes sense that that's maybe at high risk that you need to take care of immediately, what can be pushed to next year, what's areas of improvement, areas to prioritize. We will be able to define all that for you. So our evaluation criteria for our workshop, again, we look at your business priorities, we look at your challenges, what's your cloud vision and strategy, how we can help you embrace this architecture, your roadblocks, remote workspace. We added actually this recently, like a month ago, to our workshop, because we all know, like we talked at the beginning, is that this is becoming top of mind, a remote workspace, and being able to know exactly what's your business requirements from a remote workspace, what's the priority when you look at that from your business, technical priorities and business priorities. Definitely that's going to be an important thing moving forward. And again, Cloud Connect, Cloud Protect, and Cloud Consume. So you can follow us on the web. We have a lot of material that's uploaded on our public website. We can follow us on LinkedIn. On a monthly basis, we have webinars that we share, like this one, with our customers. We have blogs. We issue at least one blog to two every month about top of mind topics. And we also have events. We're moving most of our events to virtual right now. So would love to have you joining our next virtual event. So that's all what I have. Thanks everyone. Doreen, we can take some questions now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hassan. We do have a few questions that have come in, so I'll read those off to you. And if anyone else has additional questions, please use the Q&A icon to send those in over the next few minutes. We did get a question about your presentation, Hassan, so I would just, if anyone would like a copy of today's presentation, in addition to the on-demand playback that you'll receive, just put a note in the notes section of the survey, and I'll be happy to ensure that the slides are sent your way. So the first question, Hassan, we have in here, it's a large school district, and they're switching to distance learning, as many are, for the rest of the school year. So they're being challenged with enabling teachers to work from home because of shortage of devices and security concerns. Just looking for some help from ConvergeOne there.
So, great question. Unfortunately, yes, there is a shortage of devices. Last I heard as of this morning, it's 8 weeks on back order for devices, traditional Chromebooks. So it's a challenging times, no doubt. But I can tell you what we did with one of the school districts is that they have Chromebooks that they acquired for their students. They never thought about the staff to be required to work remotely. Usually, you know, in a school district, you add all these devices to the user, to the students. They go home, they can continue with their homework, and they meet the teacher the next day. Now and unfortunately, it's going to continue at least in our area till the end of the school year. So everybody's going the distance learning route, so they don't lose. So what we did is that we went to those schools, we picked up those Chromebooks that were supposed to be used during the school days, and we gave them to the students, and we gave them to teachers. And with the teachers, as you know, Chromebooks doesn't give them all the access to the applications that they want, that the district is offering. So we leveraged AWS workspaces, where you can, you know, spin up a Windows machine, Windows desktop, within hours you can have it. The good thing is that AWS is offering free licenses, up to 50 licenses of remote desktops. We found this extremely useful for situations like this, where we are only using the devices that we can find, but we can still get a Windows remote desktop that will allow those teachers to access the tools that they need to access from the district. So this is one of the examples that I think in those situations we can leverage remote desktops. Definitely cloud route is very convenient in these situations, and it doesn't take, compare it, for example, if you want to build a virtual desktop environment. Number one, we have shortage of equipment. Number two, it's going to take maybe a month to get the equipment, and it's going to take maybe a month to set up everything and get the project going and get everything ready to go. So a lot of organizations, 2 months is not an option anymore. So I would say cloud now, embracing a multi-cloud architecture, looking at the cloud capabilities in work from home scenarios is our best option, and this is what we're doing a lot of recently.
Great, thank you. One more question. This is from an e-commerce business growing rapidly since the beginning of the pandemic, hosting everything in their data center and facing scalability and support issues. So looking for some guidance there.
Great question. So I had a couple of customers actually came to me with these. As we all know, everybody's home, and you know, e-commerce is growing everywhere because you know, people are not going to brick and mortar like before. They're trying to, you know, buy, you know, everything online and have it delivered. So I would say we had a great success with our customers that started to consider bimodal IT when they want to grow their e-commerce business. And this means you separate your production network from your corporate network, because as you grow your e-commerce business, the requirements, the SLAs, the SLOs, everything becomes different. And you want to make the best customer experience for that e-commerce capabilities. For example, when you separate them, you might want to, for this question, you may want to consider moving your workload outside the data center. This can be done now. Your workload might actually, after this pandemic, you will see a little bit of a drop, but it will be, the adoption will be higher. Everybody is expecting that the behavior, a permanent behavior shift. So I would say you start looking at moving your workload to the cloud as closer to the end users as possible, to your customers, and also consider bimodal IT, separation of IT department, kind of have people dedicated to your e-commerce. Also, you want to leverage some of the tools that will give you advanced visibility to what's going on. Think about something like application performance monitoring, something like App Dynamics, where if you have a user that's placing an order and it's in the user's cart, and shipping charges for whatever reason is giving an error, you will be immediately notified that there is something wrong with that end user or that customer transaction, and you will be able to jump in and fix it for him. Because we all know if the shopper couldn't place that order, he's going to go and he's going to place that order somewhere else. So those are, I would say, the three things. Consider bimodal IT, the separation of the e-commerce from the production or the e-commerce from the corporate IT, have it, move it to the cloud, and consider some advanced capabilities like application performance monitoring so you can ensure the end user experience.
Great, thank you. That's all our questions for now. So Hassan, I'll just turn it back to you for any closing comments.
No, that's great. Thanks everyone. Hope everyone stays safe and well during these tough times. And please, if there is anything we can help with, just let us know. Thank you all.